on cryptex land. Get off the ship and take a walk. Take any guitar and start your own band. Here you can sing, here you can talk, here you can say whatever you want. Here you can stay, become a mutant. Just try to be nice. For hate there is no space. Don't skate on thin ice. You better not run that race. The race of the trolls, the race of the hate. I will show you the rules. Don't hate but create. You are landing on cryptex land. Get off the ship and take a walk. Take any guitar and start your own band. Here you can sing, here you can talk, here you can say whatever you want. Here you can stay, become a mutant. Just try to be nice. For hate there is no space. Don't skate on thin ice. You better not run that race. The race of the trolls, the race of the hate. I will show you the poles. Don't hate, but create. The race of the trolls, the race of the hate. I will show you the poles. Don't hate, but create.
Hello guys, Cryptex here. Today I want to talk about the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan. This is a case of two children that disappeared like 3 weeks ago in Nova Scotia here in Canada. So I'm very interested in this case. I want to start covering the case. Let me first show you the location of the area where these children were missing. So give me just 1 second here. So let's go to Google Earth. I'm here in Montreal. You know, if you can see my cursor, it's really close to Boston and New York. And the disappearance is here in Nova Scotia. So let's go to that area. So as you can see, you're gonna go there. It's gonna be a very wooden area. It's full of forest. This is just to have an image of the area where the children disappeared, right? So you can see it's full green, full forest. Here in Canada, it's like that. It's a big extension of just trees and forest. So this is I think the name is let me just check here, the Gairloch Road, and the house of the Sullivans is here. So as you can see, just behind or around the house, actually it's a mobile house where the children disappeared. And you know, the surroundings are just full forest, full woods. It's a very wooden area. And this is an access to the Gairloch Road. So this is just to have an idea of the area where the girls, the children disappeared. Is Jack Sullivan and Lily Sullivan, 4 and 6 years old. Hello, Jay. How are you? Sorry, my dog is barking. So let's do a little bit of background here. So I'm gonna share a video to see what's the status of the
It's been 2
investigation.
weeks since 2 young children vanished without a trace in rural Nova Scotia. Here's everything we know about what's happened since their disappearance. Around 10 a.m. on the morning of May 2nd, 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station. The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, told CBC the siblings were out sick and not at school on Thursday and Friday. He said he believed the children must have gone outside through the sliding back door sometime Friday morning.
When we noticed that the children were gone, immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could.
He's the stepfather of the children. I'm gonna go back a little bit in the video. I'm gonna restart the video. Sorry for that, guys. Sorry for the interruption. Come on. Sound is not good.
Siblings were out sick and not at school.
Sorry for this. Let's go back again.
It's been 2 weeks since 2 young children vanished without a trace in rural Nova Scotia. Here's everything we know about what's happened since their disappearance. Around 10 a.m. on the morning of May 2nd, 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station. The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, told CBC the siblings were out sick and not at school on Thursday and Friday. He said he believed the children must have gone outside through the sliding back door sometime Friday morning.
When we noticed that the children were gone, immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
Nova Scotia RCMP said they believed the children wandered away from their home and there was no evidence of abduction. That morning, a vulnerable missing person advisory was issued in Pictou County, and the organized search for the kids began in the heavily wooded area surrounding the family home. Volunteers searched through the night. More than 100 people were called in to help. Helicopters, drones, and police dogs were also part of the search. On Saturday, May 3rd, officials were optimistic the children would be found.
It's a huge wooded area with lots of potential. So we're just keeping all avenues open and ensuring we're covering off the entire area with a very structured search.
Around 5:30 that night, RCMP issued a wider alert to Pictou County and surrounding areas. On Saturday, the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, spoke to CTV News. She said she was hopeful and that she just wanted the kids home. The search continued on Sunday, May 4th. The children's stepfather said he wanted authorities to monitor the New Brunswick border and nearby airports in case the children were abducted. Meanwhile, 160 searchers were out looking for the children despite rainy conditions. On Monday, May 5th, police and rescue agencies continued searching, going at all hours. RCMP said searchers had located what could have been a footprint on Saturday and expanded the search effort in that area. That night, 4 drones with thermal imaging technology were used to look for heat signatures in the woods. Tuesday, May 6th marked 5 days since the children went missing. A Nova Scotia RCMP spokesperson said in an update that the case remained a missing persons investigation.
Police are pursuing all investigative avenues, and there's a variety of teams involved who are applying the tools and the skills and the expertise needed to locate and bring Lily and Jack home.
McCann wouldn't say if there had been any sign of the children. The children's stepfather told CBC that after the disappearance, the children's mother left the area to be with her family in another part of the province and blocked him on social media.
My mother had to kick some people off the property because they were saying that I did it. I had something to do with it. And I'm the only one here fighting for them, which is sad.
The children's maternal grandmother told the Canadian press the family was hoping and praying for the children to come home. On Wednesday, May 7th, Nova Scotia RCMP announced it would scale back the search for the missing kids.
We're not packing up, and we're not giving up. Our investigation is broad, and it won't end until we know where Lily and Jack are and can bring them home.
McKinnon said there hadn't been any confirmed sightings of the children, and survivability was unlikely.
If we thought they were alive right now, we'd still be out there.
He said the searchers covered a 5.5 square kilometer area, roughly the size of Halifax's downtown, that was heavily wooded.
I'm absolutely exhausted at this point after going through 6 days of virtual hell. It's absolutely crazy.
On Thursday, May 8th, the RCMP packed up its command center in Lansdowne Station and searchers left the area. Martel told CBC he spoke with investigators from the Major Crime Unit in Stellarton earlier in the week. He said he willingly handed over his phone to police and investigators searched the home. Martel said he also asked for a polygraph test.
I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else.
RCMP declined to say whether a polygraph would be administered. Meanwhile, a makeshift memorial was set up at the nearby Stellarton RCMP detachment. In a news release on Tuesday, May 13th, Nova Scotia RCMP said they were continuing to investigate. Police said they were following up on more than 180 tips from the public and had identified 35 people to interview, including community members and those closest to the children. Police also confirmed that an underwater team searched lakes in the area but didn't find anything. On Thursday, May 15th, RCMP confirmed again that there's been no evidence to suggest the children were abducted. 2 weeks later, on Friday, May 16th, there are still no answers as to what happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Cassidy Chisholm, CBC News, Halifax.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now, but we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued.
I don't know if the parents are involved or not, but the mother here, she has a good point about the Amber Alert not being issued earlier, let's say. And here in Canada, we don't have a very good record in terms of finding missing children. And it's like the police here, they never learn. There's a famous case here. It was Cedrica Provencher. The disappearance of that girl was huge in Canada, a 9-year-old girl. And the Amber Alert was not issued quickly. So it seems that in this case, is the same situation is happening. So let's continue with the mother here. Just a quick comment here from J. Ray. No, I don't know, but it's weird that she left town and blocked the stepdad. Yeah, it's weird. We're gonna go there soon. Thank you for your comment.
Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always In a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Public Information Officer Corporal Carly McCann would tell.
So now let's go with some theories about the disappearance. I'm gonna play a video made by Dr. Grant. Of course, there are three basic theories. One is that the children escaped or left home and they were lost in the woods. That's the most unlikely scenario. Another one is that the children were kidnapped by some stranger, but due to the nature of the area, that could be also unlikely, in my opinion. And the other one is that the disappearance is related to the family, which I think it could be the most likely scenario here. Let's listen to Dr. Grant's analysis.
Lilly and Jack Sullivan lived in Nova Scotia. In 2025, Lilly was 6 years old and Jack was 4 years old. Their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, also had a younger daughter named Meadow. According to family members, the biological father of the children had no contact with them. In 2023, the family moved in with Malaya's lover, Daniel Martell. He had a modular home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne, 16 miles south of New Glasgow. Malaya was a stay-at-home mom, and Daniel worked at a local sawmill. Daniel referred to himself as the stepfather of Lilly and Jack. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On Friday, May 2, 2025, at about 10 a.m., Malaya called 911 and indicated that Lilly and Jack were missing from the home where the family lived. She woke up that morning to the sound of the children playing in the next room. She fell back asleep for a few minutes. When she woke up, the children were gone. Here is what the police found during the course of their investigation. The family home is surrounded by dense forest. The backyard of the home has a dilapidated fence. In addition to the modular home, there were 2 sheds and an old recreational vehicle on the property. Based on photographs, the RV does not appear to be in working condition. Reportedly, Daniel's mother lived in the RV along with multiple cats and 1 dog. Lilly and Jack attended school on Tuesday, April 29, 2025, 3 days before they went missing. Their school was called Salt Springs Elementary. It was located 11 miles from the home. There was no school on Wednesday, April 30. Their mother kept them home on Thursday, May 1 and Friday, May 2 because Lilly had a cough. Due to a slowdown at the sawmill where Daniel worked, he was home on the Friday the children went missing. The authorities conducted a massive search of the area, deploying over 160 rescue personnel, as well as helicopters, drones, and dog teams. They did not find Lilly or Jack. On May 4, 2025, Daniel shared his thoughts with the media. He said that on the morning of the disappearance, Lilly came into the bedroom a few times as Jack was playing in the kitchen. At least that's probably where Jack was. Daniel believed the children opened the sliding door in the back of the modular home and exited. Their boots were found next to that door. Daniel assumed the children left the property through the back fence. When he realized the children were gone, he climbed into his vehicle and drove around the area, but he had no success. About 10 minutes later, he returned home and searched on foot. Once again, he did not find anything. On May 5, the police stated that they did not find any evidence of an abduction. They believed that Lilly and Jack wandered away from their home. On May 7, 2025, the police asked Daniel to turn over his cell phone. Daniel indicated that he complied with the request. This same day, the police scaled back the search operation. They had thoroughly searched a 2.1 square mile area without success. At the time I'm making this video, Lilly and Jack Sullivan remain missing. The police continue to investigate this disappearance. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. Based on information which has been made available about the disappearance of Lilly and Jack, some people suspect foul play. They don't buy the story about the children wandering into the woods. The authorities ask the public to refrain from jumping to conclusions or sharing unverified information. They are worried this could complicate the effort to find the children. If Lilly and Jack did wander into the forest, it is very unlikely they are still alive. This may explain why the police have scaled back the search effort. It is a body recovery mission at this point. The police indicated that there is no evidence of an abduction, but there is no way to know if they are telling the truth. It's possible they have found evidence but don't want to give away information out of fear of jeopardizing the investigation. Item number 2, Lansdowne, where the children lived, is a rural area of Nova Scotia. Only about 100 people live there. Many have been there for generations and are related to one another. The area does not have cell phone service, and many of the homes are in poor condition. There are an excessive quantity of ticks, and swarms of flying insects regularly harass anyone standing outside. This is not the type of place that is visited frequently by outsiders. There really isn't anything of interest in Lansdowne. Their tourism numbers are probably abysmal. The terrain surrounding the modular home where Lilly and Jack lived is very inhospitable. The vegetation is thick, the ground is uneven, and there are many trees which were knocked down due to a recent storm. It's hard to imagine that a 6-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy could have made it too far under those conditions. This brings me to item number 3. There are really only 2 theories about what could have happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Theory number 1 is that they wandered into the surrounding heavily wooded area and somehow disappeared from the face of the planet. Theory number 2 is that foul play was involved. Someone took the children. This could be a relative, a friend, or a stranger. Because there are only 2 theories, if one theory is true, the other theory must be false. With this in mind, let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that theory number 1 is true. The children wandered into the woods and no one else was involved. I will start with the factors that support this theory. Based on the statements made by the children's mother, Malaya, and the man who identified himself as the children's stepfather, Daniel, it seems as though Lilly and Jack simply walked away from the family home. There were no indications of a kidnapping. For example, Malaya and Daniel did not mention anyone in the area, they did not hear a vehicle, they did not hear anyone screaming, and there was no physical evidence supporting a kidnapping. Whatever happened, it was silent, which is inconsistent with an abduction. The authorities indicated there was no evidence of foul play, which of course only leaves wandering away as an explanation. It seems unlikely that an aspiring kidnapper would have randomly stumbled upon the children in such a rural area. If the kidnapper was a stranger and intended to take the children, how would they have even known about the children in order to target them? Kidnapping by a stranger in a rural area in Canada is pretty much unheard of. It is technically possible, but statistically extremely unlikely. A kidnapping perpetrated by someone who knew the children would be more likely, like a family member or friend, but this is still a low probability event. Now moving to the factors that contradict the theory that the children wandered away. The authorities almost certainly searched every area the children could have realistically reached on foot, yet they found nothing. Maybe one of the children could have hidden effectively, but what are the chances that both children would have been able to conceal themselves from trained search personnel? What motive would the children have for leaving their home on foot? The children's mother indicated they were not the type of kids to go outside alone. It is extremely unusual for children to venture into the wilderness. So one moment they were playing, and the next moment they decided to walk away from their home. It just doesn't make any sense. While it is unlikely they wandered off, it is even more unlikely they left the home with some type of purpose. At 6 and 4 years of age, they did not run away, like their mission wasn't to start new lives with fabricated identities. After Lilly and Jack went missing, their mother left the area and blocked Daniel on social media. Did she blame Daniel for something? There's no way to know for certain, but it looks suspicious. Lilly and Jack went missing on Friday, May 2, 2025, but had not been in school since Tuesday. The school was closed on Wednesday, but they were also kept home on Thursday and Friday, supposedly due to Lilly being sick with a cough. If Lilly was sick, why would she venture outside? Either way, it seems suspicious that the children would disappear after missing school. It points to this idea that Lilly and Jack were missing for a few days prior to when they were reported missing? Was everyone in this situation really telling the truth? When considering all the evidence in this case, do I believe the children wandered off? Is theory 1 the most probable explanation? In my opinion, no. Theory 1, while certainly not impossible, does not strike me as the most probable explanation. The idea that two small children, one of them reportedly sick, ventured alone into dense, inhospitable, insect-infested woods, leaving no trace of their journey even after a large-scale search, is incredibly difficult to believe. This only leaves theory number 2. Foul play was involved. This theory doesn't necessitate a stranger's involvement, but perhaps someone familiar with the children was involved, like a family member or a friend. Both theories, the children wandering off or the children being abducted, are statistically unlikely, but one of them must be true. When weighing the relative probabilities involved, I believe that theory number 2 is a better fit to the data. It would not surprise me if the police were looking closely at people familiar with Lilly and Jack Sullivan. They have suggested that the children are lost somewhere in the woods, but perhaps the real answer is not buried in the forest. Rather, it's a little closer to home. Those are my thoughts on the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. One concept that comes up.
Okay, that was the analysis of Dr. Grant about the case so far. USA Libertarian, happy to have you here, man. There would be some sign of them in the woods, in my opinion. 100%. I totally agree with you. And there were dogs, search dogs, helping with the search. So there was no sign of scent. So it's weird. And as you say, you should expect to find I don't know, some clothes, items, or something like that. To me, it's really unlikely that that the children were lost by themselves in the woods. I agree. This case is a little bit similar to the Madeleine McCann case, in my opinion. I don't know if maybe some accident happened and they are trying to cover the situation here. I don't know. It's really weird. Let's see the evolution of the case, but something is not adding up for sure. Most likely, I think the family or someone close to the family is involved. Let's see if there are. This is a wild speculation, I know, but if there were some drugs involved and like they were just not awake. I'm not gonna say overdose, but I don't know, so high that they didn't take care of the children. I don't know. I'm just speculating at the same time. I'm just starting to work in this case. I don't know what to say so far, but to me, it's likely that the family or someone close to the family is involved. They had enough time to hide or to move the children before calling to the police, before doing the 911 call. USA Libertarian. You cannot draw conclusions from statistics. Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. Statistical interference is interesting, especially if artificial intelligence could be used, but it can only guide an investigation. Yeah, I agree. J. Ray, I think you Canadians draw conclusions from statistics, but only about groups, not about an individual case. Best you could do is likelihood based on the group. Yup. USA Libertarian, counterpoint to my own argument. Maybe there were a lot of signs because they went into the woods a lot previously. Yeah, good counterpoint. So there are also rumors of a party sometime before, which reminds me of John Bennett Ramsey case. Yeah, this is a good point. Just gonna play a last analysis or theory. I'm gonna play the video that was made by Pat Brown, the criminal profiler, and I think that's gonna be all for the week. Just give me 1 second, guys. I know that she did. Yeah, I have it here. Oh no, it's not this one. Where is it? Give me just 1 second, guys. I know I'm cutting the flow, but I don't know. I cannot find the video. It's Sullivan, Nova Scotia. Okay, I got it. So just 1 second here, guys. It's not gonna be so long. I'm gonna share it right now. Share screen. Share.
Now, I would like to go through some the basic points that I see at this point in time may actually support their theories that these children didn't wander off, nor were they kidnapped. So, first of all, let me read you just the latest information coming out. Police in Canada have announced they are dialing back the search for 2 young children who vanished from their home into the woods of Nova Scotia last week. Okay, I have a problem. Well, this is the Daily Mail, so but it's interesting when they say this because there is actually no proof that they disappeared from their home into the woods. There's no proof of that. That's simply bad reporting. What they really should say is the police have scaled back the search of the woods because they haven't found the children, and so much time has gone by. I think they're thinking those children are not in the woods. Jack Sullivan, age 4, and his sister Lilly, age 6, were last seen about 10 a.m. on Friday on a road close to their home in the Canadian town of Lansdowne Station. Well, that is completely, I don't even understand that because they weren't seen on a road as far as I know. The 10 a.m. thing comes from the mom and stepdad who say that's when they think that the children disappeared at 10 a.m. on Friday, on a Friday morning. That's very questionable. And I want to point out, it's always questionable when the people saying it are the people that were with them and who might have something to do with what happened to them. The real question is, when did somebody else see them? Now, as far as I know, nobody's seen them at all since Tuesday. That's when the bus driver dropped the kids off at their home. Now, so the Tuesday was the last time somebody else saw them. Then the Wednesday was a holiday, so there was no school, so the kids would be at home. I'm not sure exactly. She's 6, he's 4. I don't know. I guess maybe he goes to preschool. So anyway, they were clearly weren't going to be seen on Wednesday. Well, unless they went someplace. And Thursday, she supposedly had a cough, so they stayed home. I'm not sure why he would stay home. So the last time they were seen was on a Tuesday afternoon when they were dropped off. And since then, as far as I know, unless if you know any differently, put it in the comments below. As far as I know, since Tuesday afternoon, that was the last sighting of the children outside of the claims of the mother and stepdad. So unless somebody saw them on Wednesday or Thursday, we don't know that they were alive on Wednesday or Thursday. We don't. So this is one thing the police will be checking. They'll be checking all the phones, the mom and stepdad's phones. They'll be checking, I don't know if there's any cameras in the area where they can see the vehicles going by. They're going to check all of those things to be sure that these 2 children didn't come to harm in the home between Tuesday afternoon and Friday morning when the 911 call was made, and were then taken someplace and buried, shall we say. because that's like 60 hours that I don't know if anybody knows where these kids were. And 60 hours is a long time. If something happened to them on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, that's a long time to get rid of bodies. Just saying. So they could absolutely drive a heck of a long distance and find a place, because it's a very rural area, lots of woods, to find a place to put the no longer alive children. Now, I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying that's what the police have to look into, because as far as I know, if Tuesday was the last time anybody actually saw them outside of people in the home, that is the last time there is any proof that they were alive. All right, so that's very concerning to me, that big period of time. It wasn't like they were seen that early that morning by a neighbor and then they vanished. We're talking, as far as I know, a long period of time. Then the second thing that really bothers me is when the mother gave her commentary about what happened that morning. A number of people have pointed things out, and they've caught on to this, and that's why a lot of people are suspicious of the mom and stepdad. The mom said she and the stepdad thought the children were playing, and they sneaked away the short time the couple were occupied. So they're in the bedroom, supposedly taking care of the baby, their baby. And so the theory that they're claiming they think is true is that they were just distracted. Kids went outside to play and then vanished, and they sneaked away. Let's find out how they sneaked away. We always make sure, Mom says, we always make sure that we're out there with them. Well, actually, that is obviously not true. Because if they aren't in the house with you, then you aren't outside with them. So that doesn't make sense, because in other words, if they got out of the house without you being there, then you were not with them. So that's a statement that's just incorrect. We always, because it always is in there. Or you could say we try to make sure we're out there with them. That would make more sense, but I guess that morning we screwed up. That would be truthful. This is not truthful. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door. They just, and I want you to keep an eye on the word just, because just oftentimes means there's deception, that there's a lie coming up. They happen to just get out that sliding door. How do they just get out the sliding door? Well, probably because it's accessible to them. Is that?
Just a quick stop here. I agree with you, USA Libertarian. Yeah, it reminds me as well of the Aura Kant case, and as well at the same time to the Madeleine McCain case. But which is weird here is that we are talking about 2 children, so it's gonna be more complicated to kidnap 2 children. It's gonna be more complicated that in let's say in the case of an accident, that we have an accident where 2 children were involved. So I don't know, when we talk about 2 children, everything is gonna get more complicated in my opinion. So I don't know, still a mystery. Let's see what Pat is gonna tell us about it.
What you're saying? Like the lock doesn't work on there, or whatever, or you're not really worried because they're 6 and 4. So if they can open the door and go out back, you don't really mind that much. Something's not quite right in what you're saying. They happen to just get out of that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, she said. Well, how many times have they stuck out and you didn't hear it? It's a little confusing. All right, now we get to this. They were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. This is where everybody goes, whoa. Even people who aren't profilers and don't do statement analysis go, whoa, this doesn't make sense. They were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. Then how do you know they were outside playing? That makes 0 sense. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. What? So if you didn't know they were outside playing, then how did it become quiet? I mean, wouldn't it have been quiet, just quiet? I mean, if you didn't hear them outside, and then it got quiet. What? It's nonsensical. All right. Then this is what gets interesting. That was in past tense. Now we go into present tense. We get up and look outside. Now, when people go into present tense, there's usually deception. In other words, this isn't exactly what happened. So now I have to imagine it. And I'm now going through, like I'm fantasizing what could have happened. So here I'm going through like an act. Okay, so we get up and we look outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. Okay, so this is all present tense, not we looked for them, we yelled for them, and it's also very vague. Where were you looking for them? Where were you yelling for them? How long did this go on? This is all because I don't think that happened. That's what it seems like. So therefore, it's all imaginary and there's no details because there's no details to put in there because they don't exist. And then she said, and I instantly just called 911. Now she goes back to past tense. She did call 911. So that is something in the past tense, you see? But the just word is there again, too. Why is the just word? Well, you don't just call 911, you just call 911. And then she instantly just called 911. Like she's got to say that somehow she didn't waste time. She was so concerned about her children, she instantly just called 911. All she needed to say was, we couldn't find them. We called 911. I called 911. But she does, and she adds instantly and just. And that, to me, is deception. And then she goes on with another just. I just had the instinct I needed to call. You have to explain why you're calling 911 when your kids are missing? Why do you feel the need to explain that? Anybody would just say, I called 911. That's the end of it. Now you have to, I had an instinct. Good, that's good. I'm glad you got some human instincts that I needed to call. No, but your kids are missing. That is a very bizarre statement. And again, it's likely because what's happening is not really what's happening. She did call 911, but not probably for the reasons she's trying to claim. All right. That is very weird. Now, that is one of the reasons people did pick up on that. So some of the channels, which I don't even like, because I find them concerning in the fact that they go way too far and way too, they do, kind of, I'm not fond of them. However, the ones that they pointed this out. They didn't like it, what she had to say. So they were doing some good statement analysis on their own. So conspiracy theorists, though they may be, maybe in this case, they could be on point. All right, so I've got a problem with what she says. Doesn't mean she's guilty. This is what the police have to investigate. Understand the difference between when I'm profiling and going through different pieces of evidence and saying where it points to. If I were working with the police, I would say this exact thing. I would say, I'm concerned about the mother's statements. They don't seem to be right. They seem to be deceptive. And so I say, you need to look further at the mother and the stepfather. You absolutely need to look at that. You also need to look at the time frame, that there's a 60 hours where apparently nobody saw the kids except supposedly them. And that gave them 60 hours to possibly remove the bodies from the house and do something with them. If the children got into drugs, if the children were, whatever happened to them, I don't have a clue. But if something happened to them, that would be their opportunity because they had 60 hours to work with. I would point that out to police. Does not mean they're guilty of anything. This is just one investigative avenue. While they're doing this investigative avenue, they also should be looking at a possible kidnapping, possible missing. They just got lost. You have to look at all of them. But the evidence is not exactly pushing toward that they got lost or they were kidnapped. Now, let me tell you why I think that. So the third thing that really struck me is where this all happened. And this first, well, this is where they supposedly may have gotten lost at. Well, you can see that they could easily get lost in all the woods there. But the kidnapping thing is a really kind of tricky there because they literally have to go out to the road and then be kidnapped. Because if you look at this house, this is the front of their house. But here is, okay, the road isn't even near there. There's a lot, there's a long way down that dirt road to somewhere to eventually to be at a road. So that the kids would get all the way out to the road, or that the kidnapper would come all the way in is very unlikely. Now, so the kidnapping thing I think is unlikely. And also, then I get to where they could have gotten lost if they actually did get out of the house. Now, what do I see here? Now, here's a sliding door going out to the house, into the backyard. Now, there's a lot of people who their comment, let me show you the whole backyard. Their comment is, oh my God, these people are slobs. They're probably drug users. They're scumbag parents. There's a lot of nasty stuff because of there's a relative amount of debris around the house. But I'm going to say this. A lot of people live in the country. They like fixing cars. These people have chickens. Sometimes their houses aren't as neat and clean as people in the suburbs or city would have. So it doesn't mean the children are abused. I just want to say that right up front. They could be in a messy house. They could have junk outside and be having a heck of a great life. They could be having fun all the time. They could be getting lots of love, and they could be having picnics and barbecues, and the families could be getting together, and the kids could be running around having all the fun in the world, playing with the chickens and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with what's going on there. It's just not the lifestyle you might live. So I don't fault them and say that their lifestyle has anything necessarily to do with what happened to the kids, unless there's drugs, in which case that's another issue. And that's what the police are trying to determine. But here's the thing that really bugs me. I'm looking at this backyard. The chickens are in that little place where you see the little wood strips over. That's where the chickens are. Well, my family also has chickens, so I kind of relate to the chicken thing. A lot of times kids go out there and they want to go into the chicken coop and play with the chickens. If there's not a big, huge rooster to attack them, and that they might enjoy doing that. 6 years old and 4 years old, that they would go out into this backyard and play for a long while. I don't believe that mommy or stepdaddy is always staring out that one, because there's not a lot of windows back there. So this is the backyard where the kids play. So I'm going to guess that a good portion of the time the kids go back there and play and their parents are not watching them. I don't buy that story from the mom at all. I believe they go out and play. And they have toys to play with. They have, I think there's a swing set or something in there. There's a place to run around and kick balls and throw things and play tag or whatever they're going to do. They can run all over the place back there. They can have fun back there. I think there's even I don't know if they have a dog, but they could play with animals back there. It's actually a great backyard. And look at it. It is entirely fenced. This is a fenced backyard. Now, I can't say there's not like a hole in the fence or something that they could have gotten through and gotten out and therefore be wandering into the woods, but they could do that. But they're 6 and 4. They're more likely to simply play in that backyard. It's not a place where kidnappers are going to probably jump over the fence. It's a great location for kids to play. And I can't believe it. It's 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever, 9 o'clock in the morning. The kids get up there. They're taking care of the baby. The little kids go out the back and they go down the steps and they go play in the backyard, that they went missing like right away. Oh my God, within minutes, they're just disappeared out of the backyard. I don't buy it. So I actually think the backyard is a great backyard and a fenced backyard. And I don't think that it makes sense that within a short period of time, they vanished. Now, if it was one of these cases where the kids were left alone in the house and mom and stepdad went off and went to do something for 4 hours and the kids were in the backyard for 4 hours alone, okay, I might buy that. But it's just morning. It's just a regular morning and the kids can go out and play. And they just vanished out of the backyard. Don't buy it. That's why I think if I had to say what I think is more likely to have happened, I think something happened to the kids in the home. And I think that 60-hour window of something that could be done with them is important. Now, that again is one avenue of investigation that I would, if I were working with the police, I'd say, absolutely, you better be looking at this one avenue of investigation because there's a bunch of things that bother me. And it's an unlikely kidnapping location. It's unlikely the kids left that backyard to go run into the woods and never be found. The mother's story doesn't add up. It's deceptive. And for the time frame, that 60-hour time frame where they could have done something with the children is concerning as well. Now, do I think they would have done something on purpose to the kids? I find that hard to believe. Usually, especially with a stepdad situation, sometimes we have a stepdad who gets angry with one of the kids because they're not his kids and they hurt one of the kids. That happened, but it's usually one kid. That something happened to both of them in the home is more interesting and more unusual, very unusual. So the only thing I can think of is that they got into some kind of drugs and OD'd. That's the most likely possibility I can think of, but I just don't know. And this is where a thing called a police investigation is important. So I do wish all the YouTubers would stop doing, a show after show after show after show of speculation, because there's really no place to go, and let the police do the rest of their work. I'm sorry, something in my throat. At this point, they have to figure it out. And of course, they are probably going to, the stepdad says they're going through everything. I'm willing to take polygraph and all that stuff. They're going to have to do all that stuff to try to figure out where the truth lies and where the evidence points. But right now, the evidence does point in the direction of something happening in the home to the children. That's just my take on it. And I hope I'm wrong. The likelihood of the children being alive is not good, regardless, because it's been too long and they haven't shown up. But they went out into the woods, they would have died by now just from exposure and lack of food and water and all that. They'd be gone by now. If they were kidnapped, kidnappers don't, if they took 2 children, the chances of not doing something to those 2 children is also limited. So the chances of them being alive are very small. And I feel very sorry for anybody. If the parents weren't involved, I feel terribly sorry for them. I don't know who the biological father is in this case. And I know there's grandparents out there, and nobody wants to see children hurt and not get a chance to grow up. So I feel very sorry for everybody involved, unless they did something to those kids, in which case I hope that the police are able to find out what did happen to the children so that this case can be closed. So those are my thoughts on this. I'm new to the channel.
So that was Pat Brown. I love her. Her analyses are great, in my opinion. So today I just wanted to do the first video about this case. I really don't have too much information. That's why I wanted to present like a general background, but I really want to go deeper in this case. To me, it's a little bit fascinating, not as fascinating as Delphi, but I think it's very, very interesting. I hope that the children are going to be found safe, but it seems that that's to be really unlikely. To me, it's always interesting when in this type of cases where children are missing. To me, it's very hard, and I like to cover those type of cases. But when you have 2 children at the same time, like the mystery is bigger. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna read your comments here before leaving, guys. Thank you for the company. And yeah, this is gonna be the first video of this case, and I think I'm gonna do a deeper analysis in the next days and weeks. I have to read more about the case, and of course, we know that we are gonna have more information over time. This case is just starting. J. Ray, I think the rule for the Amber Alert is they need evidence of an abduction, and they are saying they don't have that. Strange. Yeah, I don't understand too much that rule. To me, an Amber Alert should be issued right away. And again, here in Canada, we don't learn about the previous mistakes. Again, in the case of Cedrica Provencher, a 9-year-old girl that was missed, and here in Quebec, they didn't issue an Amber Alert quickly. At the end, she was found dead, 10 or 12 years after it. It was really sad, but anyway. J. Ray, is super unlikely for the children to be stranger kidnapped way out. It would almost have to be someone who knew they were there. Couldn't be totally random, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with you. This area is so isolated. If it was a kidnapping scenario, it has to be someone close to the family. I agree with you. That's my first reflex. But at the same time, as you say, we never say never. But yeah, I think it's going to be more possible that if there was a kidnapping scenario, the family or people close to the family were involved. USA, yeah, exactly. No signs of them in the woods. And again, there were dogs searching the area, and apparently no signs of the kids being there. True, but I'm sure all 100 people there know those kids live there, though. Yeah, it seems like there are not too many people in that area, so maybe they know each other. It's not very populated. I agree with you. Are they sure those kids are not his biological children? Yeah, they look similar, but we know that he's the stepfather. So I think his biological father lives in, I think it's in Alberta, if I'm not mistaken. USA Libertarian, we cannot draw conclusions from statistics. Statistics are there to help, but this case seems to be very rare. 2 missing children in that area, so I don't know how statistics are gonna help specifically in this case. Maybe yes, but I don't know. With the help of artificial intelligence, I agree with you. According to USA Libertaria, there are also rumors of a party sometime before. I didn't know about that. That's interesting. I have to do some research, but yeah, if there was a party, maybe, I don't know, it could be part of the whole situation here. J. Ray, I cannot imagine, as the mother, not staying there where the kids went missing. It feels kind of like she might not leave the area unless she knew the kids were not going to be found there, right? I don't know. I wonder if she is actually under the custody of law enforcement. Maybe she has some information and I don't know. Or as USA Libertarian says, she has a complete mental breakdown. Or she's fearing for her own safety. Yeah, multiple possibilities. The stepfather says her side of the family didn't trust him or believe him. I don't know. When I listened to the stepfather interviews, I don't know what to think. He at the same time he gives you the idea that he's telling the truth. He's accepting to have the polygraph. I think he took the polygraph already. Let's see what are going to be the results. And at least he's not hiding. He's like going in front of the camera. It doesn't mean that he's not involved, but I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. We have to wait for more information and evidence here. USA Libertarian, the family could have urged her and convinced her to distance herself. Yeah, who knows? J. Ray, are there signs of problems between those two? This is the first time I've heard more than 2 kids missing from Nova Scotia about this case. It's crazy because there are not too many people in Nova Scotia, and now we have another case like this. I hope they found the biological dad, just to be sure. I think he made already an interview. I watched an interview in YouTube. His biological father was talking about the case. We can cover that in the next video. Yeah, I hope the investigators were not that bad as the ones in Delphi. So yeah, me too. I hope they searched the sawmill. USA Libertarian is doing the parallel with the Orcans case, where they allegedly took the toddler camping. Yeah, but again, this case is different. We have 2 children. We don't have just one. So it makes the case more interesting, in my opinion. Yeah, the biological dad lives in British Columbia. Okay, thank you, Lini. I agree with you. The Canadian police, they don't have a great record when we talk about finding missing children and missing women, like the indigenous people. I agree with you. USA Libertarian. The stepdad, Daniel, seems a bit odd, but also seems truthful, and also seems like he had a bad liar. He'd be a bad liar, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's too early to say that. Several gaps in defense. Yeah. So what does it mean? That if there was a kidnapping scenario, someone entered into that fence? That's unlikely. Or the kids, they did go out through that fence. I don't think it was the case. I think the kidnapping scenario was not related to a stranger. Most likely someone close to the family again. Nana Boomer is here. Hello, Nana. Happy to have you here. Meadow. What do you mean, Meadow? J. Ray. What is Meadow? This I didn't understand. The USA Libertarian USA. I wonder what the other kid saw. I don't know if there was another kid. According to Lini, it was there was a baby. So, but maybe I missed that part, and maybe you're right. Strange that the only one remaining is biologically his. Well, yeah, it's strange. But of course, if there was a baby, maybe the baby was next to her. So I don't know, but it's a good point. Lini P. The parents said they were in bed with Mido. Okay, Mido is the baby. They're 16-month-old, sleeping in and off when Jack and Lily disappeared. Okay, thank you for the information. I didn't know about the baby. It's a very important detail here for sure. USA Libertarian. Yeah, I think it was a baby at the end, according to Lini P. The stepdad, Daniel, he has 2 other children from another relationship. Okay. Nana Boomer. It's pretty suspect that their biological baby is fine. I don't know. I have to think about it. I'm not really in that same of thinking. Cryptex, they said there was a baby named Mido. Yeah, thank you. A daughter. Okay, it's a girl. Did they say the grandma lives in that other trailer? I don't know. Lini, thank you, Cryptex, for covering this case. No, thank you for being here and to support the channel with your presence and your comments. Yeah, it's a very interesting case. I want to expand the subject of the cases I'm covering here, and this one is special to me because it's here in Canada, so that's a good start. J. Ray, Nana, your name makes me want to change my name to Nana Millennial. Nana Boomer, I haven't followed closely, so it would be nice if I can follow along with you at the same pace. Okay, this is a perfect start for you because it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just starting. I don't know the details, so little by little we are going to present the details of this case. And I'm sure in the next weeks we're going to have more information from law enforcement. Let's see what's coming. USA Libertarian. That's what is frustrating. Why don't we already know everyone and their whereabouts at the residence? Yeah. There is a lot like the Somerwell case, actually. Yeah, but again, 2 children in this case. 2 children is quite different, in my opinion. it makes everything more complicated. If, to me, we can discard almost 100% an accident, because you can have one of the children can have an accident, but two of them are the same time. Maybe yes, if they fall from a tree or something like that, and after that the parents were trying to cover the accident because they would be accused of negligence. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but to me, it's unlikely that an accident happened here. So I don't know. Nana Boomer. So strange how often the dogs lose scent at the end of driveways. Did that happen here? I would like to know that. It's very interesting, because that could be like an indication of a kidnapping scenario by a stranger. But I don't know. Let's see. The dogs did lose scent at the end of the driveway. Ah, really? Okay, I didn't know that. So if that is correct, that's different. Maybe the theory of a kidnapping scenario by a stranger, in that case, is actually possible, if that's correct, if your information is correct. Thank you, Lini. I think you have much more details than us here, and I appreciate the information you are providing. Canadians are better at not making media spectacle at everything. That's true. That's correct. Let me. Annalisette is here. Cool. Annalisette is in the house. The Orcans was with the family at the campsite. Yeah. USA Libertarian. That seems under question. The grandfather and friend had conflicting stories of when Dior was around. Annalisette, USA Libertarian. I thought of writing about that case. I done interviews, been to the campsite, etc. I believe the child was there. That's interesting. Thank you. Yeah, I could figure out that J. Ray after. Okay, the baby is a 16-month-old baby, and is a girl. So yeah, thank you for that. So you're still talking about the Dior case. Annalisette, apparently the terrain there in Nova Scotia is very rough due to trees torn up by a hurricane in 2022. Yeah, there's a big forest. J. Ray, same cryptex. This is my first look into this case, past headlines. So it's a good place for us to start digging into the case. Yeah. And to ask questions. Sometimes when we are just starting, we can have some good questions and some good ideas about the whole case. Annalisette, the child was there. News reports have been a little inaccurate. The camp area is extremely rugged. I'm surprised the house is still there. It's a little bit of a mess, that property. Huh? I'm not judging, but kind of messy. It sure does complicate things with two kids so close in age. One kid is like a built-in witness for the other. I hate to say that, but it's true in my opinion. Yeah. Annalisette, it's being said that gasoline messes with the dog's ability to smell. I wonder if well-traveled roads make it hard for dogs to follow a scent. Yeah. If my dog is there, she's gonna find the answers right away. Her nose is awesome. J. Ray, that green guy next to you reminds me of my stepdad back in 2002. Why? It's a handsome guy here next to me, J. Ray. So if you don't have any more comments or questions, I think I'm gonna stop the video here. I think it's a good start. And we are gonna continue covering this case. I'm really very interested in it. So I have to read more about the case. I have to do some research. And you too, guys, maybe if you do the same, we're going to do a more solid streaming next time, but I think it's a good start. So, the ears. Okay, your father was a troll. Elini, I've been following this case for 3 weeks, but I think it's great to get fresh eyes on this case. So happy you're covering it. Thank you so much. And so happy you're here with us because you're going to be a good source of information for sure. And maybe, I don't know if you would like to, like maybe in the next streaming, if you can call and we can talk to you and share your thoughts about the case, why not? Or if you don't like that, just in the chat is fine. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. I don't think I'm gonna do any streaming during the week. I'm gonna be very busy at work, so maybe Friday I'm gonna come back. Stay in touch. Please hit the like before leaving, and if you can share the video, that's gonna help as well. So see you guys. Have a nice end of the weekend. Bye bye.